to Tribe Talk. Today we are going to be discussing how Facebook just announced last week that it was finally removing its 20% text limit on ad images, which is so exciting. I'm sure all of you guys are so excited about this update. And we're also going to be discussing how Facebook is removing its 28-day attribution window. I know this isn't an as welcome update, but we'll be discussing that as well. So Courtney, welcome to Tribe Talk. So tell us a little bit about Facebook removing the 20% text limit.
Yes, this is such exciting news. Well, the text rule definitely did its purpose. It was created to keep news feeds less cluttered and to avoid overwhelming users of Facebook who then might just be too frustrated and not go on Facebook. But it did have some unintended consequences, I think. For example, if you're selling books or courses, ebooks, even if like your products itself have words on it, which lots of packaged goods, canned goods, lots of clothing, all these things will take away from the 20% text limit that the actual text you do add to your ad have. And what this meant was a lot of people with these kind of products, so for example, let's stick with books, their ads would get less reach simply because their product involves words on the cover and you can't really take that off or avoid it. The only way around that would then be to just, you weren't able to add any text to your ad, which really, really limits creative testing. So this is a much awaited rule change for a lot of people. I think it's going to be really great for specific industries, and I think it's going to open up a lot of creative testing for industries that weren't really impacted by this rule as much as others.
So now that there's no text limit, what kind of experiments do you recommend others run, or what kind of images do you think would perform well?
I am most excited to start testing longer, more meaningful reviews from customers in ads. A lot of the time I find that third-party trust and reviews and press mentions are really, really meaningful and are some of my greatest performing ads, but I get stuck either keeping it all in the copy and then just using a product image, or having to do things like just say like great product, but then have to leave out the person's name who wrote this review, why they thought it was a great product, all of the context and reasons behind that review. So I think that this is going to be one creative test that could definitely move the needle for a lot of brands, especially newer brands that people they're going to need to see more than just like, I loved this product, like, and now we're able to add more to that in the images. A couple of other ideas to test for some brands that spend infographics can cost quite a bit of money. People put a lot of time and effort into getting information, studies, and research done, and really, really great looking infographics. And now those can go into ads, which is kind of cool. In my head, I can picture a lot of really neat carousels that can show you more for like service products or service brands, I guess. Money savings, how their product works, how it improves life, all done in just a different visual way. If you've got any text overlays, sales, any seasonal information to add, I think one thing to keep in mind going into Q4, I think making sure that you've got some really great ads running and testing with images for sales, for user-generated content, reviews, discounts, seasonality, sale ends, only 2 days left, and then a review too, is definitely going to be huge for Black Friday and holiday shopping looking forward into this year. But I am number one on my list. First thing is testing longer reviews in ads. And then after that, I'm going to definitely be doing some sale testing. So rather than just focusing the image on the sale, have a reason to shop the sale, whether it's save a lot on holiday gifts, treat yourself, support this sustainable company, etc. By the way, there's a sale. So I think having like a dual purpose creative basically is the first couple of things on my testing list.
So when Facebook announced that they were going to limit the attribution window to 7 days, they kind of announced it very nonchalantly. But why is this such a big deal for advertisers?
The big issue here is going to be reporting. Not everybody may understand what the impact is of like a 28-day attribution model versus 7 days. But when you deliver the reports to any stakeholders essentially. Next week, I think not next week, I think they said like October 12th or 13th, you're going to see a dramatic decrease in what you think is a decrease in performance. However, it's just that simple attribution change. So 28-day one is the default one. After the 12th or 13th of October, everything is going to move over to 7 days. Obviously, with only a 7-day attribution window, you're going to see less sales. But as long as a business is aware of what that means and that it's not a decrease in performance, then it is going to be okay.
So are there other ways that we can obtain this data, or is the 28-day window too large? Maybe we should be focusing on the 7-day window.
So after October 13th, there will be no more 28-day attribution tracking from Facebook, as far as I know. I don't know if that will change or if what's going to happen there, but Facebook does recommend people to download their historic 28-day attribution window data. And as always, we should be looking outwards of Facebook ads and into Google Analytics or Shopify to make sure that we're just following all trends overall and not just related to attribution. One thing that is, I think, pretty helpful just to prepare people for what they can expect after this change is when you're customizing your columns in Facebook Ads Manager, there's a section underneath all of the column options on the right-hand side, I believe, where you can compare 28-day and 7-day attribution windows, and you can pull out the sales for each of those and compare them. So if you've got a lot of stakeholders or you just yourself want to be prepared, like what can you expect to see once this attribution window switches over to 7 days, then I definitely recommend doing that, pulling out that information, and then talking to people and making sure that that change is understood.
So is there anything else that you would like to share with us about this update?
Yes, two things. The first one is something that I think we should all do or be mindful of. If we have any automations or rules set up that rely on any 28-day attribution metrics, definitely a good time to go in, refocus those rules and set them up so that there's no errors or confusion in the switch over to the 7-day attribution. And then also, I think if this is related to privacy concerns or privacy policies, I think we can definitely expect to see more changes related to privacy policies across all ad platforms, just because we've seen so many innovations or changes in that industry or area in the past couple of years. And I think it's just going to continue to change from here on out.
Well, thank you so much, Courtney, and thank you all for tuning in. We hope you have a great rest of your week. Bye.